I do think that the subject that we're talking about, a subject that we broached in the Christian Research Journal, Why Christians Must Legislate Morality, Frank Turek's perspective, is amplified by a picture that elucidates the content. And what Frank says is that when he has a minute to communicate the importance to Christians being involved in politics, he always goes to his iPhone and he pulls up a satellite picture of the Korean Peninsula. And I actually, not all that long ago, Frank, stood on the demilitarized zone and looked with binoculars over into North Korea. So I know what you're talking about here, but I think this is a very graphic illustration in picture form of what you're communicating in terms of the content.
Sure. If you're not driving right now, Google Korea satellite night. And if you Google that, you will see a number of pictures of the Korean peninsula at night. And what you will see in this homogeneous peninsula, really, made of mostly Koreans, you'll see the South filled with light. It's filled with productivity. It's filled with the gospel. It's one of the most Christianized countries in the world. When you just look just north of the border that you just mentioned, Hank, you see darkness across the country. South Korea has freedom. North Korea does not. There's one major reason for the difference between South and North Korea, and the answer is politics. The South has freedom. The North is a communist dictatorship. And when I hear Christians saying we ought just go out there and preach the gospel, we can't get involved in politics, I always say to them, if you think the gospel is important, you better think politics is important, because if you don't have political freedom, you can't preach the gospel, not legally anyway. In fact, Hank, you can't do what we're doing on this radio program right now in North Korea. You can't do it in Iran. You can't do it in Saudi Arabia. You can't do it in China. I've been to all those countries. You can't do it in Israel. You can't do this in Canada in some areas because of some of the laws they've put into place. So politics affects everything we do. In fact, politics affects your church, your children, your health, your money, your business, your freedom, your property, your school, your home, your security, your safety, the poor, the unborn. Politics affects everything we do. It is complete nonsense to say that Christians ought to forfeit your right to get involved politically because the laws that are made in Washington, the laws that are made in the state governments, the laws that are made in your local governments affect everything we do, even your church.